In an effort to stand out, Mizuno has never really been afraid to take risks. And for 2024, Mizuno is giving us the Neo Vista. It's a very tall shoe with a knit bootie construction and a new squishy foam. It's intended for runs that aren't exactly slow, but aren't exactly speed sessions either. But the real question is this shoe worth the risks? It's time to lace up the Neo Vista and take it for a run. Yo, what's going on? My name is Kofuzi and I'm a non-elite runner who reviews running shoes here on YouTube. And today I want to talk to you guys about the Mizuno Neo Vista. But before I do want to go over some disclosures. This is a pair of shoes that Mizuno sent to me for the purpose of review. However, nobody's paying me to make this video or to include their shoe in this video, and no one's going to get a chance to preview any of my footage or my thoughts before you guys get a chance to see this video on YouTube. So with that disclosure out of the way, let's talk about the Mizuno Neo Vista, and let's start with the specs. This is a 44.5 millimeter stack height shoe with an 8 millimeter drop, giving us 36.5 millimeters of stack height in the forefoot. Now in this shoe, we've got Mizuno's brand new NRZ NXT foam, which to me feels a lot like a supercritical EVA, but it is not. They tell me that it is an EVA with a special blend of materials in a unique manufacturing process that involves specific heating, timings, and temperatures that mimics a supercritical process. And they also tell me that it's supposed to deliver a superior performance compared to that supercritical process. Now this is a Mizuno shoe, so of course there is a wave plate, and it's made out of the same material that we saw in the Wave Rebellion Flash 2, a glass reinforced nylon plate. But the design of this plate is slightly different. I think that there aren't the side wings on the medial and lateral side of this plate that the Wave Rebellion Flash 2 had, but overall the point of it is to help stabilize a lot of this very squishy new foam. Now there's a heel bevel on the back of this shoe and then also an aggressive rocker up front. And this entire system with the wave plate, the foams, and the shape of the shoe is what Mizuno calls their smooth speed assist. It's a way of making sure that the shoe rolls nicely through your gait cycle. Moving to the outsole, we see two large strips of rubber on each side of the foot with a giant channel down the middle of the shoe where you can see that glass fiber reinforced nylon plate. And then moving to the upper, we have an entirely knit upper, which is something we're not really seeing that much more in 2024, which I think is a shame because I love a good knit bootie construction. And the heel cup doesn't have a lot of structure in it, which I think is a little bit unusual but refreshing for a Mizuno shoe. Altogether, this shoe comes in at a kind of a heavy weight, 9.4 ounces or 266 grams. Now that we've talked about the paper specs, let's talk about what it's like on the road. This is a very mushy shoe, and it's definitely a Mizuno shoe. I feel like it's designed specifically for midfoot and heel strikers. And for me, this shoe behaved very differently depending on the paces at which I was running in them. At very easy paces, and I thought that that would be a really fun way to use this shoe because the midsole material is just so mushy. I actually found that the way that the shoe was designed, the way that the foams were interacting with that wave plate were quite uncomfortable for me as a midfoot striker. It gave me a lot of kind of stress in the arch and ultimately made my feet feel really tired as I was trying to pretty much fight with the shoe. However, when I tried to shift my foot a little bit and changed how I landed in the shoe to more of a midfoot / heel strike, that's when I felt like the shoe really started to make a lot more sense. I got a really nice, comfortable, mushy sensation. And by mushy, I mean it's squishy, but it's not decompressing. So a lot of times with the shoes, I talk about the compression and decompression, not only the amount, but the speed at which shoes compress and decompress. And for me, shoes that I want to take for comfy long runs and recovery runs and easy paces are shoes that compress nicely and decompress a little bit. So I'm getting a sense of softness, but not an explosive pop like I would want from a racing shoe. And when I say a shoe is mushy, I feel like I'm getting a lot of compression, but that decompression might be really slow or almost not noticeable. It's a squish that kind of gets stuck at the bottom of the compression cycle, or at least that's what it feels like. And that's kind of what I'm getting from the Mizuno Neo Vista at easy paces if I'm mid-foot or heel striking. And I feel like that's very comfortable for easy and recovery paces. But that's not exactly, or not the only thing that this shoe is designed for. It's really intended to be that shoe that you don't take for just easy runs, but something that's in between easy runs and say like marathon effort paces, moderate runs. So kind of like a easy plus, or kind of in that steady range of running. And there for me, when I could keep the shoe more in that mid-foot strike territory, I felt like the shoe started to make a lot of sense. That's where the foams and the wave plate that's in this shoe really started to work together well. And I felt like at efforts that were a little bit faster than easy, I felt like then the compression and decompression were working in a really nice level of timing. Maybe it's because I was pushing more into the shoe. After a certain point, that's when it really starts to give back. And so that's kind of the more exciting feeling that I was starting to feel at that kind of easy plus or steady effort running in the shoe. Combined with the knit upper, I felt like it was a really comfortable experience for runs that are a little bit faster than easy. The one thing I'll say about the upper that I didn't quite love is these grommets that are at the top of the lacing system. At this point, the laces go inside the shoe and then the laces are touching directly against your foot. And I feel like depending on how the laces sit inside this grommet, if the lace lays flat, it's not a problem and the whole thing is very comfortable. But sometimes the lace can get kind of twisted and bunched up and turn into rather a flat lace, more into a little bit of a rope that has a little bit more of a three-dimensional shape to it. And that's when I sometimes had some discomfort. And for those of you who have very sensitive feet, that could be a problem for you as well. The solution is to just make sure as you're lacing up the shoes that those laces stay flat in there rather than bunched up, and it shouldn't be a problem. And otherwise, there's really not a lot of other negative things that I could say about this upper. It's really comfortable and very chill. It does go up really high. It has a very high kind of ankle collar. It's gonna cover up most of your ankle socks for those of you who are in the same age demographic as me. But it's all just done in a very comfortable way that I really enjoyed. It looks great, it feels great, it's fun to wear casually, and it's also fun to wear on those longer, steady paced runs. Now, just to round out the testing, I did take it for moderate effort running and a little bit faster than that. So from like kind of marathon effort up into the threshold ranges. I do feel like the weight of this foam and this shoe starts to become an issue. And also there's something about the way that this foam does respond in terms of that compression, decompression kind of timing, where it does feel like it's loading my quads a little bit. So I didn't love running for extended periods of time at moderate or faster paces. And instead, right where this shoe is designed and intended to be used at that kind of easy plus or steady effort range, that's where I found the shoe to be most enjoyable. Now let's wrap up the video by talking about some of the pairing options, how you could use this shoe in a collection or a rotation of shoes, and then we'll also talk about the buying guide and some of the competition. Now in terms of pairing options, if you're using the Neo Vista as it's intended as that kind of easy plus shoe for those longer runs or those faster paced easy runs, I think you're gonna need also just a regular daily trainer and then also a race shoe as well to kind of bookend the pace ranges for you in the shoe. And I think we could do that staying all within the Mizuno family, because I feel like if you're really drawn to the Neo Vista, you probably will also like the other Mizuno shoes that Mizuno's putting out this year. The daily trainer that I'm gonna recommend for you is a bit up of a pricey one. It comes in at $170, but it's the Wave Rebellion Flash 2. It's got that same smooth speed assist geometry to it. It's got a glass reinforced nylon plate in here to help stabilize all those foam and create that rolling motion. And I feel like it's really comfortable for easy paces all the way up to some shorter workouts. And then for your racing or for your hardest workouts, you can bump up to the Mizuno Wave Rebellion Pro 2. This is taking kind of all the concepts that we've been talking about in Mizuno kind of design and engineering and taking them to the max. It's got the biggest heel bevel. It's got a carbon fiber plate and racing foam in here. All three of these shoes together could make for a really fun maybe a little bit expensive, but a really fun and consistent Mizuno experience. Now let's talk about the buying guide and some of the competition. The Neo Vista comes in at $180 and it is available now. Let's see where this shoe stacks up against the competition. Now the shoe that you guys asked me about most when I teased this on Instagram was the New Balance SC Trainer version 1. And I think you guys are spot on in kind of like spotting the similarities between these two shoes. The SC Trainer version 1 used a lot of knit materials in the upper. It also even has some similar lace grommets, and it also uses a jumbo stack height of foam that's super squishy combined with a plate to help stabilize everything and make things roll. I also found like that this shoe was a really great option for midfoot and heel strikers as well, so the similarities keep continuing on. And I would say that for those of you looking for an update to the SC Trainer version 1 in 2024, the Neo Vista is going to be a very good option. Keep in mind though that I think there's two kind of slight differences. I felt like the SC Trainer version 1 could go faster a little bit better. So for those of you who wanted to wear it for marathons, I felt like it made a lot of sense. But that shoe's been out for a really long time and it's not really going to be available as an option for you anymore. So let's talk about the update to that SC Trainer, the SC Trainer version 2. With this shoe, they reduced the stack height, but they tell us that they kept all the same squishiness. And I felt like with this shoe, it became less of a heel striker shoe and more of a midfoot and forefoot striker shoe. I felt like the SC Trainer 2 lost a little bit of that kind of like chaotic magic that the SC Trainer 1 had in the heel. So if you wanted a little bit more stable option of what the SC Trainer 1 does, the SC Trainer 2 is the option for you. But still, I do feel like the SC Trainer 2 does faster paces a little bit better than the Neo Vista does. The Neo Vista does a little bit slower paces, a little bit better. And the SC Trainer 2 retails at $180. There is an SC Trainer 3 on the horizon. I don't have that one in for testing yet, but what that means is that the SC Trainer 2 may be going on sale now if you're not already finding it on sale. Now, the other shoe that I think is worth talking about here is one that I think a lot of you guys haven't tried yet, but I'm going to talk about it here because I feel like the foams are nearly identical, even though technically they're very different. And that's going to be from Rabbit. It's the Dream Chaser. Now, this is a shoe that is being changed and updated later in the month in June. And so some of these design features that you see here, like these carbon tracks, are going to be a little bit more hidden and there'll be some changes to it. But for now, I will say that in terms of what I'm feeling with the foam, the eTPU that's in the Rabbit Dream Chaser feels almost identical to the not super critical, but super critical-ish EVA foam that's in the Neo Vista. Now, these two shoes end up riding quite differently, even though they have very similar feeling foams. The Rabbit is even better at easy running. In fact, I only like it for easy running and recovery running. And the Neo Vista, I think, is much better at that kind of in-between space of easy and moderate pace running. But as far as whether the Neo Vista is worth the $180 price tag, it's probably going to come down to whether it works with your foot strike. If you're like me, then it's probably not worth it. But if you've been looking for that SC Trainer version 1 replacement, this is a shoe that you're definitely going to want to try. If you have any other questions, let me know in the comments down below, or better yet, stop by the live stream that I'm doing in summer hours now, Mondays and Thursdays at 1 p.m. Central Time. I'd love to see you over there on the Kofuzi Run Club channel in the chat. That's all for today, everybody. Thanks so much for making it all the way to the end of this video. Hopefully you guys are staying safe out there on your runs, and I'll see you in the next one.
Yo, what's going on?